Are you planning a trip to Los Angeles? In this video, I'm going to give you all the tips you need to travel there and not have any problems. Everything, all the tips that are essential, where to stay in Los Angeles, how to save in Los Angeles these days. Many people question this, how to get around, do you need a car, can you take cabs, Uber, public transportation, what are the tours, all the tips on the city's main tourist attractions, and several other important aspects that will help you avoid a lot of the hassle you could experience and that we've already gone through the first few times to make our trip as cool and incredible as possible, guys. So don't forget to give us a like, that's very important. Don't forget to give us that thumbs up, that really helps us a lot. Subscribe to the channel, please, and buckle up. Hey guys, for those who don't know me, I'm Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the Grupo Dicas, the world's largest travel content network, and today we're gonna talk about Los Angeles. We've just returned from Los Angeles. We live here in Orlando in the United States and we went to spend a few days in Napa Valley. It was an incredible experience. I suggest you take a look at our video here on all tips for Napa Valley, which is a trip well worth taking with incredible things to see close to San Francisco, but we ended up spending a day there in Los Angeles and we've been a few times to the city, which is very cool and one of the most famous in California. So let's get to it. Los Angeles is the main city in California, chosen mainly by those who don't live here in the United States. And why is that? Because foreign countries like Brazil and all the countries in South America and Europe, most of them have direct flights to Los Angeles. If you want to go to San Francisco, you have to make a stopover in Los Angeles and take a plane to San Francisco. San Diego, the same thing. So Los Angeles ends up being the main point of entry of exit for people, and those who are already there want to enjoy, get to know the most famous cities in the United States, and there are lots of cool things to do, but there are also important tips on how to avoid getting into trouble there. So let's go. The first tip, which I think is the most important, is the season, and that goes for any city in California. Avoid the winter months of December, January, and February because California has a beach feel, so you can walk around. Even if you're not going into the sea, if you want to enjoy the beach, walk along the promenade, try to avoid these months because not only is it winter, but at the end of the year in December, because of New Year's Eve and Christmas, everything gets even more expensive. So try to go in the summer, which is June, July, and August. These are the most expensive and most crowded months, but fall and spring, which are in the middle, these two periods are also fine. Just try to avoid winter, which I think spoils a little. And how many days should you stay in Los Angeles? I think Los Angeles needs at least 3 days. That's the minimum to get to know all the areas, and the ideal is 5 days. I think that's enough. You can focus well and get to know the main tourist attractions very easily in 3 days. Where to stay in Los Angeles? Los Angeles is a very big city. It's one of the biggest cities in the world, and there are some bad areas. Just like every big city, there are areas that are more unsafe, deserted, and not touristy. So do your research properly. It's important to know where to stay in Los Angeles. To help you, of course, we'll give you all the tips here. I'll leave a link down here in the description of the video that shows you a personalized map we've created, so you can go straight to the website that compares and searches for hotels, which is the largest in the world, has the best prices, and it's the best place to make reservations. There, we've already made this personalized map that you see on the screen, which already has the best region that we suggest, which is the best location for you to be close to everything and in a safe and touristy area of Los Angeles. So Los Angeles has several regions. The one you see circled here, more the Hollywood area, which is where the Walk of Fame is. Next to it is Beverly Hills, which is also a nice area. It's very good. It's home to the richest people, the most beautiful houses and hotels, but it doesn't have as many attractions as Hollywood. That's why we suggest more Hollywood, and this whole area of Hollywood is where the main tourist attractions are. That's why we recommend it so much. So this is the first most popular area in Los Angeles. Using the map here, you see that it opens and you can search for hotels. There you see Hollywood Boulevard, which is the Walk of Fame, the most important avenue in Los Angeles. So this is the most beautiful and coolest part of the tourist area. But there's another region that I'm a fan of. Now, we spent a day there and I think it's a beautiful place. It's Santa Monica. Santa Monica is the beach of Los Angeles. It's about 30 minutes from Hollywood Boulevard. You can see on the map that it's a little further down. And there's Santa Monica and Venice Beach, which are the most famous. It's that famous promenade where you see people skateboarding, running on the beach. It's very California. I love it. I prefer to stay there because I like the beach feel. So there are some very good hotels. I'll leave you with the hotel we stayed in, which is incredible, sensational, and very cheap. Great value for money and facing the beach. I'll also mention the hotel we stayed at in the center, which is very good value for money. Take a look because there are two excellent hotels for you to stay in, and it's up to you whether you want to stay in the center, close to everything, or whether you prefer to stay on the beach, enjoying that very Californian vibe. And during the day, you go up to the more touristy part, so both options are fine. Don't matter which one you're gonna choose because these two areas are gonna be the best for you to stay in Los Angeles. And a very important tip for saving a lot on hotels, especially in California, which has high prices, is to book in advance. The earlier you book, the cheaper you pay. That's a fact. As time goes by, in a week or two, the hotels automatically raise their prices because people are booking and there are fewer rooms. So here's a tactic we've been using for a long time and it works very well. Book as soon as possible. You know you're traveling, get in, make a reservation, but so that you don't have a hassle of canceling, being fined, we use a very good website that's the largest hotel search engine in the world. I'm sure you know it. It's the links to the hotels down here to the best region. It's all in this search engine that we use. And what's the big deal? It has a very good deal with almost all the hotels for free cancellation. So you saw there, free cancellation, which most of them have. Make the reservation and guarantee a good price. After a month or two and you need to cancel, change the size of the room or the city or whatever you need to change or even cancel, you can do it free of charge. But you can already guarantee the best price that was there at the time. If you don't, you see that prices are really going up fast and the dollar isn't cheap. So it's a tactic we've been using for a long time. We managed to save a lot with it. And when you click on the links to the hotels I've left here in the cities we stayed in, so you can see where to stay, a page with several hotels may open. This search engine already shows the first hotel in the list. It's supposed to open the hotel page directly, but sometimes it gets a little buggy, so it might open a list with all of them. Just click on the first one, which is the one we are recommending, and then you can check the value for your trip. And now that you know where to stay, guys, very importantly, how do you get around Los Angeles? Los Angeles is huge. In my opinion, if you're doing a road trip around California, you need a car. Unfortunately, you can't do the whole coast, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Diego, without a car. It's very complicated. So if you already have the car in the middle of the trip, use the car. You won't have any problems. You pay a lot of money for parking, which isn't cheap, but it's part of the trip, and you're going with a rental car, there's no problem, and you'll be able to get around easily. If you're only going to Los Angeles, you'll be going in and out of Los Angeles, then a car might not be necessary. You can use Uber, taxi, transfers from the airport to the hotel, which is very easy, very simple, and then you can get around by Uber, cab, walking. You don't need to rent if you're just staying there. If you're doing this solo California, I think it's worth it. Now, the two tips regarding the transfer and the car. The transfer has a very good website, which is the same website that sells all the tickets, tours, and excursions, which we'll talk about here. But if you want to, go to the description, I'll leave it there. It also sells transfers. You get there from Los Angeles airport to the city center, Hollywood, Santa Monica. You already be booking a car that will be waiting for you there. It's even cheaper than taking a cab. There won't be any those scans taxi drivers give tourists, and then we've already suffered. So it's the best option for those who don't have a car to get around. If you're driving, here's a very important tip. This is for those who are renting, guys. You see that it's much cheaper. Don't go straight to the rental shops. Use a website. It's an incredible website that leaves you a list. I'll leave it here in the description of the video. It's a car comparator. It compares the prices of all main car rental companies, the best prices, incredible deals, and cheaper prices than the rental companies themselves, because they're giants. They have a great negotiation power. They all want to have the cheapest price to appear first to customers and generate more bookings. So use this website. We've used it again. We always use it, and it's the cheapest place around. Try to prioritize the big rental companies, guys. Alamo, Aviz, Budget, Dollar, Thrifty, Sixt. They're all very good. They're big. Try to avoid the small ones, which are sometimes cheaper but give you problems later on. You get here at the airport, rent the car quickly. It took us about 20 minutes to do everything, to get the key, to pick up the car and then leave, but it's very easy. use the comparator and you will like it. And in California, a car is really important, both for visiting the beaches and the coast, San Diego, San Francisco, the wineries, Napa. There are many places where the car is really important. Now let's talk about the safety of Los Angeles. There are a lot of people and a lot of news going around about the safety of California. What's happening in recent years due to some changes in laws and government, both California and New York have seen an increase in the crime rates and the homeless people who are the beggars here in the United States. So you'll probably see a lot of beggars, homeless people, but it's not an unsafe city. Just stay tuned, like in any big city, no fooling around, cell phone in your pocket, bags closed in front of you, just like we are used to in any big city of the world. But you don't have to be afraid, oh, they're going to mug me, they're going to come at me with a gun. No, there's practically no such a thing. It does exist, I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't exist, but in these touristy areas it's quiet. That's why I say focus on staying in the tourist areas, get a nice hotel, pay a bit more, but stay in a nice area and you won't have any problems like that. Just come back from there and I thought it was very nice. At night it's a bit empty, some places are further away from the center, but it's super nice. We didn't see anything to worry about in terms of safety. I thought it was even easier and nicer than I expected. Now for the tips on what to do in Los Angeles, there's a lot there, so let's go. The first thing everyone wants to do, the Walk of Fame. The Walk of Fame is one of the main attractions. It's in that part of Hollywood that I mentioned earlier, right in the middle of the city. You'll probably be staying nearby and it's not that big. We imagined a huge avenue, but it's not that big, it's just a few blocks. You can get to know almost everything in just a couple of hours, but it's very cool. You have to get to know it. The central point for you to locate yourself there, and it's a place worth seeing. At least from the front, it's the Chinese Theatre. This is where the first Oscar ceremonies were held, and it's super iconic. If you want to take a guided tour, I think it's about $20. You can go inside. And the Dolby Theatre, it was built after the Chinese Theatre, much more glamorous and beautiful, exclusively for the Oscar ceremonies. So it's another very nice place. You can take the guided tour, which is about $25 inside, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. My recommendation is that I don't think you need it so much. You can focus on other tours that I'm going to talk about here, but outside you can take pictures, you can see it. It's a place you have to visit. Going to see the people on the ground, the famous people who signed it. It's a nice trip to take and it's totally worthwhile without having to get in. A cool place that surprised us and that we hadn't even planned on, this Dolby Theatre, you see that there's a little mall behind it, which is beautiful. There aren't many stores, but it's very pleasant to walk around, and there are restaurants. We went in the middle of the night and we found it very nice. You can explore the area of this shopping center, which is right behind us, right in this area. There's a place that sells Disney milkshakes, which are delicious. It's kind of like a Disney ice cream parlor. It's very iconic. It's been there for years on the Walk of Fame. Stop by if you're interested, if you want a milkshake, an ice cream, something like that. It's a place we really liked. Two truths, the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, which is that famous museum that recreates celebrities in wax and they look real. I'll put some pictures up for you to see. There's one here in Orlando too. We've been to the one in Los Angeles, we've been to the one in Orlando. It's very cool with the main Hollywood stars. It's very Hollywood focused, so there's lots of cool stuff for you to do. I think it's worth it. It's a really nice walk for you to do and take pictures. And there's also the Hollywood Museum, which is a museum of Hollywood and has various pieces of clothing from the artists, the original costumes from the films, pieces of scenery. It's a very nice tour. I think it costs $15 or so. I think it's more worthwhile than paying for that guided tour to get inside the theater. These museums are really cool and a lot of fun. Have a look around and check the prices. They're really a good option. There's a very good website, the one I mentioned, that sells the transfers from the hotel to the airport, which also sells all the tickets, museums, tours, amusement parks, everything there. It's the best place because I think it's the cheapest, the most reliable. And now for those who live in other countries, they are selling local currencies. For example, when I was in Brazil, they already have it in Brazilian reais. You pay in the currency you have. You don't pay some taxes that you would pay if you bought something in dollars. So it's a huge saving. It's very nice. Take a look. I'll leave it down here. It has almost all the museums in Walk of Fame. There is Universal Studios, which is the coolest place to visit in California. This amusement park is my favorite. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Go there. There's lots of cool stuff and it's worth it. And since I'm talking about this website, there you'll find a very nice tour of the Warner Brothers studio, which I think is well worth doing. You get to see the facilities, where the recordings take place. It's a really nice tour. There is Universal Studios Hollywood, which is an incredible Universal Studios park. Here in Orlando there are two, we love them. And there's this one in Los Angeles, we've been there. It was the first one we went to and it's sensational. There's the Springfield area, the Simpsons, toys, simulators, roller coasters, the Mummy in the dark, an incredible roller coaster. The Harry Potter area is also there, as it is in Orlando. It's an incredible experience. In my opinion, you have to go. Take a look, book a holiday. There are lots of cool attractions. Take a look. We always buy our tickets on this website, which is where we always find the best price. Check it out because it's a sensational park and well worth a visit. Another place you have to go is Lake Hollywood Park. This is the address where you can go to see the Hollywood sign. Everyone who goes to Los Angeles wants to see the sign, but you'd probably have a hard time, which we did the first time. Just throw it on the map, Hollywood sign in English, and it appears. It does, but it sends you to a place where you can't see anything. In the middle of the houses, you get lost. We did it the first time many years ago. The tip is there are certain addresses. The one I've shown you here on the screen is one of them. You will land in a very nice spot where you can park your car, walk around for a few minutes, and you'll be able to see the sign in no time. There are other addresses if you want to search, but these are the right places for you to see because a lot of people go and get lost. You see when you're there, you will notice that a lot of people going back, looking around, because it's a hassle that a lot of people go through. But now you know the tips, and I hope you don't have to go through these problems now that you go where to stay. It's very good to be well informed so that you don't end up in a weird place that you can't even see the sign, but with this address you can totally take your pictures. Important tip, guys, don't go at night because the sign has no lights and you won't see anything, so go during the day. This is another important tip and many people make a mistake. Another incredible place nearby is the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. It's on top of a mountain near the Hollywood sign and it has an incredible view of the city. Just going there, stopping the car and seeing the city, getting into it, entering the observatory, it's already a worthwhile trip. That's when you realize how big Los Angeles is. It's surreal, and inside there's a planetarium, one of the most famous in the world. For those who like astrology, it's incredible, it's worth it, it's a really cool tour. And the tip, the most beautiful view is behind it. You'll see that there's a corridor behind it, go around it, and you have an incredible view of the city of Los Angeles. If you can go at dusk, it's perfect because you see a wonderful view of Los Angeles. You go in, walk around, when you come out it will be dark, you see that starry sky. It's really cool, it's well worth doing, especially with children. Children love this kind of thing, the planetarium and the whole view of the city at the starry night. Another important tip that everyone asks, is Los Angeles expensive? Yes, prepare your pockets. We don't like to fantasize about anything. We like you to really go knowing where you're going and how much you're going to spend. California in general, especially Los Angeles and San Francisco, is expensive. You pay a lot for food, you pay a lot for parking, you pay a lot for accommodation and everything, but it's worth it. They're beautiful cities, but they're really more expensive than the others in the United States. I think New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles are among the three most expensive, but you have to go. There's nothing to do. They're cities worth paying to visit and get to know all of the attractions inside. Another incredible place is Rodeo Drive, a very famous street, one of the most chic streets in the world. It has those designer stores and it's famous from the palm trees on the sidewalk. It's a beautiful setting. People with a lot of money go there to shop, to walk around. You see all kinds of handbags in women's hands. It's like a fashion show. It's a really cool place, well worth a visit, and you can buy something if you really want. If you want to go shopping, there are 4 huge malls in Los Angeles. Go to Google Maps, there are several. There's Westfield, I like it a lot. It's very big, a very famous chain. There's one closer to Santa Monica if you're there. There's one closer to downtown. Go to Google Maps shopping mall, which will bring up several, and then you go by ratings, by size. But there are several scattered around. My recommendation is to go to the one closest to you. You don't have to travel so far. Almost all of them have the same stores, the ones we like to store in, both cheap and expensive. There is everything for all tastes, so I recommend that you go to the one close to you. Another nice place is Beverly Hills. You have to see it. It's more homey, it's more residential, there aren't many tourist attractions. Then go to a nice restaurant, there is a tour of famous people's homes, that's really cool. On the Tickets and Tours website they also sell this tour. It's very nice and lasts about 2 hours. You see Nicolas Cage's house, Michael Jackson's house, and the houses of many celebrities. You can also take a stroll yourself. It's a beautiful place to visit in Los Angeles because there are famous people's houses, but in general it's very beautiful. Moving on to the beach, the Santa Monica Pier is a must-see attraction. You have to go both day and night. Go in the morning, spend the whole afternoon in Venice Beach and Santa Monica, which are close together. It's a very nice place. People skateboarding, running, it's beautiful and it's nice to get to know. And at night, my recommendation, if Venice Beach is getting a bit deserted, a bit dark, go to Santa Monica and focus on the Santa Monica Pier. It's a beautiful place and at night it's beautifully lit up. There are thousands of LED lights, a Ferry wheel and a roller coaster. There are lots of attractions there and several delicious restaurants. For those who have never been there, Bubba Gump, which is also here in Orlando, is good. It's from the movie Forrest Gump. It's focused on seafood, shrimp. There's lots of cool stuff and it's on the pier, and there are others too, but go for a night walk around. Feel the California breeze, which is one of the places we like the most, and it's well worth a visit. It's right on Santa Monica Beach. If you type in Santa Monica Pier, there's no mistake. You end up there, guys. And guys, an important tip for all of California, and this goes for all the cities as we use cars a lot, cell phones are extremely important. It has to be working signal. Without the internet, you can't use Waze, Google Maps, and that helped us a lot at short notice to book a winery, a beach, research something different, an attraction, what time it closes or opens. Cell phones are very important on this California trip, especially nowadays. Everywhere, but for this California trip it's more about the car. I think it's more important, so you have everything ready, you have everything organized so you can use the internet. For us, the easiest, coolest and most advantageous way is the international prepaid SIM cards that some company sells. There's a very good one that we still use today. It works perfectly everywhere. There is eSIM, which sends you a QR code by email. You can install it straight away if your phone is already compatible. You don't even need a physical SIM card, and you arrive in the United States, activate it and leave it with unlimited internet to use everywhere. So take a look. I'll leave it down here in the description of the video too. Take a look at the chip, which is very good and works super well, and you need it. Otherwise, you end up getting lost on the beaches and vineyards and all the attractions in the whole California. And another very important service, taking advantage of the fact that this is really important, is international travel insurance. Don't travel outside your country without travel insurance. It's very cheap, cheaper than people think. There's one that we get that sometimes gives about $4 a day and covers you with more than $30,000 of medical assistance if you have a problem, if you're hospitalized. And here in the United States, the price of things is absurd. A doctor's visit, a hospitalization. So get insurance, which is very cheap, but don't travel abroad without it. And I'll leave the link to the travel insurance comparator below in the video description. It's an incredible website that we use that's just like a car insurance comparator. It compares the price of all insurance companies. It gets prices even, I'm not kidding, compare searching travel agencies directly on these other websites and compare with the comparator. It sometimes finds it for half the price, and it's reliable, a huge company, good service. So take a look. We always use them, but don't leave the country without one because it's so cheap and it saves you of a lot of trouble you could have on your trip, especially in California where you'll be driving a lot. There are state parks, beaches, wineries, amusement parks, so it ends up being super important. So get one money. And here I'll leave the organized link below with all the links and websites we use to organize the whole trip. All the links, the ones that have the best prices, that we've already experienced, that we know are quality places and services. So you can put together an entire trip based on these links. You see that you save a lot. Some links already have discount promotions included. So save this page, share with the people traveling with you, use this page, and you have a much cheaper trip, I guarantee. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel because it really helps us a lot. And don't forget to watch the other videos, which are very good. I'm going to leave 2 other up here which are unmissable videos for your trip to California. So thank you very much and have nice trips.